What is good, everybody? What is good? It's Big Game James. I'm back here with my great co-host, lovely co-host, Miss Stargazer. We're back for the Big Star Show. It's not the kind of show we want to have right now. We want to have a great, happy, joyous show. Talk about what Dak just did. He just threw 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. We just ran up and down the field on them Packers, and we should be talking about we should be talking about rematching them Lions. But alas, we're not.
We
We're
are here.
talking about the loss. And shout out to everybody in the building. Harold, of course. Like I said, I want to say something first. We're not haters because my guy, boss, we did a show yesterday. Final word, and we sit there and we didn't hate on the Texans, like much like you do, Harold, on the Cowboys. We don't hate on the
Mm-hmm.
Texans. Matter of fact,
Exactly.
we give them love. I'm loving to see Mr. D'Amico Ryan's black coach, who's I love, energetic. I love him as a player. He was energetic. He was a dog,
Yep.
and to see what he's doing his
Mm-hmm.
first year with a rookie quarterback and the talent that CJ Stroud has, I want to see them prosper. I want to see them good. So congratulations to the Texans, and I hope they continue to do that. And it doesn't be like a 1 year wonder type thing. You feel me? I want this to
Yeah.
continue to grow and just continue to get stronger because, hey, at the end of the day, I love seeing black coaches get jobs for real.
Yep.
And Gerard Merrill just got hired with the New England Patriots. So the
Yep.
continued success of the coaches will continue diversity within the NFL, and that's what we want for
Mm-hmm.
all, not just black, for all races, continued diversity in this game, and that's what we want to see. So that's what I love seeing with the Texans. So salute to them. But enough of my
Yep.
talking. I did a lot of that. How you doing, Star? And just give me a little. How's everything going with you?
Yeah, everything's going good, big. Well, as good as it can be. I think of course, after the loss on Sunday, I think it something that really rattled, I guess, the fan base. Just because of all the hopes and dreams and everything, all the success we had, because we had a lot of success during the season. You know, we got, what did you have? 9 Pro Bowlers. I mean, 9 All Pros. Lots of Pro Bowlers. Your quarterback is an MVP candidate. Your quarterback, second team All Pro. CD Lamb, Offensive Player of the Year candidate. Michael Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year. All of these things. We had all of these things. But we didn't have what we needed to go all the way, if that makes sense. Even though if you look on paper, it's like, wow, y'all got it all right here. You know what I'm saying? That's why, and Big, before the season, no one had us, everybody had us regressing. People were saying 10 wins, maybe 9. But I think when everybody saw the offense after the bye take off, then that's when you start hearing Super Bowler, but Super Bowler, but Super Bowler. It just started, everybody started drinking the Kool-Aid. Not just the media, but the fans, everybody's like, okay, all right, this is our year. We did our soliloquy last week. Like, no excuse. Look at the landscape. Everybody's saying it, but I had realized and get in our flaws, they blew up in front of our face in this game. And I think we were really hoping that our defense, was going to come around. We kind of had see them trending up, Jordan Lewis, Donovan Wilson. We had see these players trend up. And it seemed like, we had started reeling in these dangerous rushing attacks and everything. So we just came, we got confident. But when it was all said and done, that Buffalo Bills game blueprint, I hate to say it, but that Buffalo Bills game blueprint really was the Cardinals. And then the Buffalo Bills took it, and then that's the scheme of the Green Bay Packers. So when that happened, it's like, well, what happens? What we didn't expect it to be like that, but yeah, well, play action, stopping the power run. It was just a disaster from start to finish. Then your quarterback starts pressing, two picks. The first one, I think that was a horrible route run by Cooks, but the second one, I mean, it was, to me, it looked baited. Some people say it wasn't baited. I don't know. I don't care. All I know it was a pick six. So whatever. Pick six, and after that, even if the offense started picking it up the second half, but I mean, the defense just couldn't stop a nosebleed. So that's here we are. It wasn't a championship level defense. And I'll say one more thing that I'll let you go. I'm realizing like championship level defense, when you get into playoffs, it's everybody 0-0. So it doesn't matter what your team was ranked. And I think that's why we got caught up. Remember in 2018, didn't we have we was like very good versus the run. We was highly ranked. I think we was like top 5, something like that. And we gave up the most rushing yards in like NFL history in a playoff game. So so it's just like it doesn't really matter what your team is ranked. It matters what your team does in the postseason. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter what they did in the season. And I think everybody, including the team, they definitely overlooked this game. They thought, we're at home, we're gonna blow these guys out, no problem. We're going to the Super Bowl, and we got. So that's my general feelings over processing it since Sunday.
Well, see, that's funny how you mentioned the 2018 season. I've mentioned this season a few times. Uh, just my opinion. When you mentioned that 2018 season, you know, Dallas was 3-5. They got Amari Cooper. We went on that run. I went to like 2 or 3 games. I went to that Philly game where it was crazy, when Dak and Amari went off crazy. The defense was really clicking. That's when LVE, Jalen Smith was coming around the second year from the knee injury. They were the linebacking duo. You feel me? Chris Richard was the mastermind. Now, everybody was talking about, that defense and Marinelli and Ron. Everybody was hyping it.
Our linebackers Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean, it was hype.
It was hype city. And then we went and we played the Seahawks. We beat them. Dak had the comeback victory in that game. And then we went into the Rams and got stomped. Right. And, and I remember we had some injuries too along that defensive front. And, we had some guys that it was like Dayton Jones, and it was just a bad business. Then they realized what we had. So they did the smart thing. You feel me? And I remember the outrage what we had. A lot of people were frustrated. A lot of people were frustrated. And then this is what I'm talking about with Mike McCarthy started. I want to get your thoughts, since I've been speaking on this, just what I feel. After that 2018 season, a lot of people were like, man, get rid of Garrett. And he still had one more year on his deal, right? And so then Jerry was like, well, in my opinion, Jerry don't like firing people. He'll rather you just play it out and you go your way and I'm gonna go mine. That was one last year, and he was like, well, I'm gonna bring him on back. We close. We were close. And that's what he said again. Just recently, we're close. He said, we're close. We're going to come back and do this. So you come back the next year, and what happens? So in a lame duck season, in my opinion, you missed the playoffs. You had some good stats, but you missed the playoffs. The team was uneven. I feel like it was a hangover from last year. And then next thing you know, Garrett's gone and the McCarthy's here. Well, you have 3 straight 12-5 seasons. Your first season, I ain't really counting. And then now, this last season, when you get Jerry saying, yeah, we're close, it's on everybody, we're close. I don't see how, to me, in my opinion, this is not a lame duck type season when you don't know what you're going to happen afterwards, after this season, because we don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs, because you got to, if you don't do anything in the playoffs, I don't know where you continue. Your contract has run out. I don't see where Jerry says, let's continue to bring you back. So I think this is that year. So I feel like it's the lame duck season for Mike McCarthy with that year. And I feel like the team is going to regress in wins. And I feel like the team is going to take a step back. I feel like it's going to be more of an 8 to 10 win season. Man, honestly, eight to 9 wins, and I'm not predicting doom and gloom. It's just I feel like it's the natural trend after these things happen, and you have a devastating loss like this. I don't see how you continue to now you're going to go and take another step above what you just had after you had all that great success this run, and you just had these devastating playoff losses 3 years in a row, and all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
this last year of your deal, you're just going to rise above it now, and it's just going. I'm sorry, I don't feel that way. And kind of what's your thoughts on that? Just your opinion.
Yeah. Um. I think I get what you're saying. I think, with every trend and things that we've seen in the past, I think we do have to contextualize everything, because if we do just look at it, this does very much seem like a lame duck year, and it could very well be a lame duck year, right? I mean, the all what you said is very possible. Regression, we look worse. Defense collapses. It looked worse even than what this year. It could get bad. I will bring context to the 2018 season. Um, what happened in that 2019 season? Kellen Moore started calling plays. So when Kellen Moore started calling them plays, we already know all about Kellen Moore not liking to run the ball. That's when we got very pass happy. We lost a lot of games, including to the Bills that year. Bills, Jets, we lost a lot of games because we had a young play caller that it was their first time calling plays. They didn't know how to balancing out, play situational football, yada, yada, yada. The story goes on. Jason Garrett gets fired. So this year, I will say that it is different. And I think that we do have to grade Mike McCarthy a little bit on a curve. And I say this because of who we are in our organization. If this was any other organization, it would be different, because I believe that if Mike went to another organization, he would have been calling plays from the jump. So then you could have given him a proper evaluation, say, okay, you've been here 4 years calling plays. We're not doing anything. What is going to be the difference? The reality is this year was Mike's first year as a coordinator, play caller, and this was a first year offense. He kept saying that in the offseason, like, no, we're this, and all that we only changed the 20-30%. Mike and them changed this entire offense up, like completely up. Like, you did not. This was a totally different offense. Even when you saw the conservativeness, it wasn't Kellen Moore conservativeness. It was traditional West Coast slant flat conservativeness. It was not Kellen Moore's offense. This was not Kellen Moore's offense. So I think, when you see what the offense was able to do in year one, traditionally an offense progresses before it regresses. And this is the first year in this offense. If we were still under Kellen Moore, then I would say, this is likely going to be a regression, because Mike McCarthy and Dak were able to excel in year one. I don't see why it would be a year to regress regarding the offense. Now the defense, that is another question. Because the defense is really what's been regressing. And I don't know why the defense is regressing. We done had the same defensive coordinator since 2021. And if you look at the stats, like, our defense every year has gotten slightly worse. I know we did face injuries this year, but we had, we still had a good roster. And I think we still had the personnel outside of linebackers to get the job done, although we had a defensive coordinator that don't really value linebackers. So we had some issues that I think was apparent. I do understand what you're saying, that it's going to be a lame duck season. I can't say I don't think it will be, but at the same time, I think now as a fan, this season made me realize that I had to look at the team with wide open eyes and not get overcome with things are going good, because now I'm teaching myself, what is it that championship teams actually need to succeed? And when you look at it, We did not have that this year. Honestly, we would have had it last year if we had a little bit more weaponry because we actually were beating good playoff teams last year. Like, remember we beat the Rams and the Bengals back to back without Dak Prescott. So we were actually beating good teams. We actually were the team that had the best record, I think, against winning teams. So, or playoff teams. So I just think that, things need to be tweaked. I wouldn't say this year blow the whole shit up, even though I understand after that embarrassing loss, it was like the worst loss in playoffs ever. Why you would say like blow it up and this is not gonna get any better. But reality is like this was Mike McCarthy and Zim's first year figuring this out. Now the penalties and all that stuff, that's different, like I said. But when it comes to Mike McCarthy's fully in control, this was his first year being fully in control. And so if this was really his first year, we wouldn't be saying fire him. Like, just be honest. No one would be saying get rid of him. We'd be like, nah, we got to give him some chance to establish something. And then we can properly evaluate Mike. It's just that what Coach Marv said, we're really Super Bowl thirsty, So we want a Super Bowl. We want it now. And when we can't get it now, we're like, blow this shit up. Let's rebuild it in the next 5 years and see if that team works. And in reality, I just don't know if that's wise, just because of how hard it is to organizations that did that, like Washington and shit, that just said, excuse my language, but forget my quarterback. He's trash. We need to get better. Then they go on to purgatory, and then your team sucks. And then like it's no reason to believe in the team, but you can get lucky. You can luck into the Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's and Lamar Jackson's and stuff, but that's just not. We've looked at the quarterback classes that have come up. Trevor Lawrence is looking like a bust right now. Is he? I don't know. Maybe he'll get better, but he ain't looking very good. And everybody said that guy was a proven winner. He's won since high school, and there was no way you could go wrong by picking him. And he got a number one wide receiver and had a regression. So I don't know what's going on over there, but anyways.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm hearing what you're saying on that. But that's the problem I have with that is that's once again on Jerry and them, because Jerry shouldn't have had Kellen Moore stay the guy. And that's that's the problem. If I'm hearing what you're saying, then that's where I will say, well, then that's where Jerry is in the way. Because if you really believed in Mike McCarthy and his thing and what he wanted to do, right, then you would have been like, come on in, this is your thing.
Let's get it going.
You got the skins on the wall, whatever you want to do, this is your thing. But see, that's not the way it is. That's not the way it is in Dallas. You don't just come in and start saying, I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to be able to do that, I'm going to be able to do this. It's what's Jerry going to do, and it's what Jerry and Steven want, and then you're going to morph yourself into it. There was no way when Mike McCarthy came on board and they just got Kellen Moore fresh.
They was going to get rid of him.
They was going to get rid of him.
There was no way. There
was absolutely no way that was going to happen. So he was forced on them. And like I said, that is the issue, because they are the ones that are controlling everything at the end of the day. And when you see that, that's why I feel like fundamentally when people are shaking their heads like, what's going on and why does things just keep happening, and how we keep on just having these good teams and it don't happen. I'm telling you, those type of things like that is the thing that throws off the team. The players see it, everybody sees it. I feel like it just throws off the team. Now, Brother Spot, good question right here. I don't think so, but do you think Jerry will make some big noise and try to get all the fans back on the train? So like a big splash, it could happen. It could, but I don't know.
Yep. I think it depends, honestly. Like, Jerry say a lot of things, but Jerry, when are you gonna stop talking and actually?
That's never gonna happen.
That's when you gonna stop talking, not just stop talking. He gonna always be the face, but it's like, when are you going to truly put your money where your mouth is? Are you going to do it? Because you said in your long letter about why you're bringing Mike McCarthy back that it's not just Mike McCarthy to blame or the players, it's the front office to blame as well as himself, and he will hold himself accountable.
He said
It's
that
all
last
up.
time, Star. He said that
Yep,
last
and
time, and
that's
every interview
and
he says that I'm not listening to
and
that no more
and
now.
he said he would do it, but it's like he's not doing it. So, but what I will say this: nothing's gonna be done, or we can't believe anything until we see it. Like there's nothing in history to make us think that Jerry Jones. Well, I mean, go back to the 90s, but there's nothing in recent history that
With
makes you
Steve,
think
right? With Steven
that
messing with it now, you can't see that now.
right. So there's nothing in recent history where you can see. But I have to believe some way somehow. I don't know how Mike McCarthy does it. I don't know what. I would love to be a fly on the wall if somebody could just leak these conversations somehow so that we could hear. Because what is Mike McCarthy saying to Jerry in the front office to say, hey, because he got them to fire Kellen Moore. He did. He got them to get rid of Kellen Moore. So, and got them to say not only fire Kellen Moore, but give me the play calling duties. Like,
Because you know why? Star, listen to this. Okay, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I
no,
apologize.
it's okay.
But when you're saying that, I feel like number one, he's a likable person. He's likable in the building.
Yep.
He does do pushback, but it's not so much a pushback where it bothers them. I feel
It's
like, in my
teetering.
opinion, it teeters,
Yes.
but it's not
He's
enough
like
to bother
teeters.
them. You know what I mean? It's not too
Yep.
much, so they can deal with that. And it's comfortable. And Jerry's 81, and he ain't gonna just fire some dude, in my opinion, with 1 year left on the deal. I'm 81, and then go jump in the unknown. Jerry and them don't want to jump on. He's 81. He don't want to jump in that
He don't
unknown
want to
right now.
rebuild. Right.
He
He
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
jump.
rebuild.
He don't want to jump in no unknown with no unknown coach. I don't know. That's why he would go with an older guy. That's why Belichick's name was so loud, because he would go with the older guy, because I don't feel like he would take the time to do with a younger dude. He'd be too nervous of him starting over and his age, and he don't want to do that. So that's the mindset I feel like they have in this organization right now. And so I feel like that's why Mike McCarthy's still here, because he's like, I feel like if he was younger, that he might have let him go because of that. If he might have been early 50s and 60s, he might have been like, I might have to just let you go. Because, Jerry has that 3 to 4 year period where after that he sours on you and he goes in another route. I feel like it's the situation where a lot of wins and you're older. I'm like, okay, we'll just see what happens this year. But I just feel like this is a setup year, in my opinion.
Do you think, because it does seem like, because being in Dallas is different. It's like you have to work year by year to get a little bit more power, a little bit more power, a little bit more power, because that's how Jerry moves. He's not really comfortable with coaches coming here. Here's all the power. He's not that type of guy, right? He's very apprehensive to do that. And it seemed, but it's, if you look at it, it has seemed like Mike McCarthy had been able to grasp a little bit more power and control as these years have gone by. Because even last year, we still had Kellen here, but Mike had his thumb on Kellen. There was a lot of things he started forcing Kellen to do. He started saying, we're going to do this. I need minimum 30 rushing attempts. I need this to happen. I need this to happen. Even though he was not calling the plays, he started putting his thumb on. Then he gets Kellen out of here. Now he's running his offense. And I'm like, I have to see, in order for me, I can't really get a good picture. First of all, we play some juggernaut teams next year. And I know turnover and teams could be different, but we're going to be able to clearly see who we are as a team next year. Because we play a lot, like I said, Texas, Browns, Ravens, 49ers. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
we
saying.
play we
It's
play
set
a
up.
lot of we
I'm just
play
saying.
a lot of tough teams.
It's
I
set
have
up,
to
Star.
see I have to see, what, because I feel like there's a lot of people. I think Mike McCarthy's issue, to me, if you really want to be honest, is over delegation. I think that he's too much of a macro manager, and he needs to be more of a micromanager, because it seems like his coordinators, and on both sides of the ball, Dan Quinn, Schottenheimer, Jeff Blasco, the running game coordinator, it seemed like he got a lot of coordinators that they're not really doing
But
their
doesn't it
jobs,
sound? But it
or they're
doesn't it
not
seem like
doing
he?
a good job.
But doesn't it seem like also that he has a lot of coordinators that are his buddies?
I can't fault you for that, because that's usually how it go. Usually you go and you bring up the guys that you done won with,
But
right?
that
When
don't
he brought
always work. Yeah, because
it
but we're
doesn't
seeing that
always
doesn't
work.
work because we saw when he came in with 2020 with Mike Nolan, that was an absolute disaster.
That was an
You
absolute
got
disaster.
you got the guy who is the Scott, whatever his name is, the linebacker
Scott
Curly.
McCurley,
Yeah, is it
that's one of Mike's guys. He's very close. When Mike was on the hiatus and he formed that Mike McCarthy group, Scott McCurley was part of that group.
okay? But and that's the problem because you kept Scott McCurley, but why did we lose old boy from the Minnesota Vikings when we thought he was
Right.
doing a pretty good?
Why do we lose George? I don't know.
You feel what I'm
And
saying?
another
And
thing,
and then we
I
then
think,
we have a linebacker issue after we lose George. You think George would have been? Do you think George wouldn't have been vocal in that room and saying,
yes,
"Hold
he
up,
would
we
have.
we, we don't like these linebackers we have right here, and we need real linebackers." I think George would have
He
been
probably
vocal, and maybe that's why he could have been going. And Mike McCarthy said, "I'm gonna let my guy because he don't talk back as much." Or maybe I don't know because
maybe
I'm not saying.
that it
I'm
could.
asking.
We're just assuming it could be Dan Quinn, because it seems with Dan Quinn's scheme, he does not value the linebackers. I don't know why Dan Quinn made such a drastic switch, but
But that's crazy to me, Star, because
it
when you
is it
say
is
that,
crazy to me.
when you look at his history in Seattle, that's what's
He
crazy. And
valued
if you're
it.
saying that he valued the big defensive tackles, go look at his drafts. Go
Oh no,
look at the
I did.
defensive.
I
No,
did
not you,
oh
but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like the people in general, go look at his
yeah,
drafts. He drafted big defensive tackles, big boys. I mean, big
yeah,
ones. He
he
didn't
did.
have light boys. He had big ones, and
Hmm.
he had linebackers. We know about the linebackers he had in Seattle. So I'm like, you had
You
that
know
in
what I think
Seattle.
it
Why
is?
aren't you doing it here? Because I think the Cowboys want that, and he morphs in with the Cowboys front office lights.
I won't say that, because I think we value linebackers big
But look at all the coordinators we've
before
had, though. But
before
look at
he
all the
got here.
coordinators. But look at all the coordinators we had, Star. We had Rex Ryan or Rob Ryan. Was it Rob Ryan, right? And then we had Rod Marinelli.
You
What
talking
was
about the get up the field,
both
get up
of
the field
them?
philosophy.
Both of them get up the
Right,
field, get up and get after the quarterback, get sacks.
right. But this is the thing, and this is why I struggle with some stuff, because I'm like, I know what Dan Quinn was traditionally, but defenses did start changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like things keep changing, because defenses started changing when he went to Atlanta. His defense, because I said, look at his linebackers in Atlanta. Those weren't downhill guys. Those were when he had
Deion
Olakun
Jones,
and
and they
Deion
were
Jones.
they were undersized.
Those are speedy pass coverage linebackers. So Dan Quinn had been steadily
And remember, he
changing his
converted.
defenses.
And let's remember, he converted your boy that came over here from
Keanu Neal.
Keanu Neal. He converted him from the
He
safety to the backer.
he started converting, because he started seeing, okay, he started going along with the trends, because that was the trend. You need to get speed. It's not about stopping the run anymore. No one's running the ball. Look at how the AFC West was built. When the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill, they started getting nothing but speed, undersized, because that was the only way you were going to stop that high flying pass offense. But look at how the Chiefs look now. It's not a high flying pass off. They done got back to the fundamentals, which is running the damn football, doing your play action, using 2-3 tight ends. Like the NFL has changed, and that's why you see The best defenses now, which would be the Ravens, and you can put the 49ers in there. When you look at the best defenses now, they got real cerebral linebackers. Because that's what it takes to stop. If you look at it, that's what it takes to stop these high flying offenses. The Shanahans, the uh, McDaniel, where everybody from the Shanahan tree. That's what it's taking now. That's how when the Ravens beat the crap out of the 49ers, they said, yeah, we're tired of these Mickey Mouse offenses trying to beat us. So teams have now said, I'm tired of these scheme. I'm tired of y'all thinking y'all going to beat us with scheme. So now defenses have evolved. Dan Quinn hasn't evolved. He has not caught up with the trend. But this is the same thing with Mike McCarthy. I realize there's a divide between Mike McCarthy, a slight divide between Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. Mike does not like using motion. Dak Prescott does. You can tell because when games get tight, Mike, or when it's a big game, it's like Mike erases motion. He erases it. He thinks, I don't know what, I think he thinks like it can cause turnover, blah, blah, blah. So he just goes away from it. But you see, when they were asking Dak about the blueprint that Vic Fangio put out and all this stuff, Dak was like, it's not going to hold up because like we have motion and stuff now. So it's like these old ass coaches, like in order for them to stay up with the times, you have to evolve. And I think Mike is slowly, because he started incorporating that motion more, but he's still easing into it because that's not what he grew up on. That's not his fundamentals. That's not what he knows. So he's trying to get used to it. And then you got Dan Quinn. You fix this whole defense and predicated it to stop the pass. But Dan, and that's why we can stop most offenses. But when you have somebody from these Shanahan trees, he cannot stop it. And it's because the way his scheme, those schemes are built to beat his scheme. So in order for us to progress, these coaches are going to have to get out of their ways. And the question is, can they? I personally feel like we need to move Dan Quinn out. But I don't know. Maybe he stays because nobody wants to hire him.
But here's my thing with that. You know, if he stays, I don't know. If he goes, here's my thing. Like the guys that we've been having in the building, though, as I said before, you say, well, these guys are getting out schemed, but we keep bringing these type of guys in. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We keep bringing these type of guys in. They're talking about, let's say, if it stays within Joe Witt or Al Harris, if it stays from within, or I don't think they go outside if Dan Quinn leaves. I think
they most likely promote within. I think
because that's how
promote Joe.
Well, because that's the Cowboys way. Once again, that's not just.
But the thing is,
I would have to say McCarthy, though, in my opinion. That's Jared saying we're staying within. We ain't got time to be finding nobody we don't know. That's Jared.
That's possible. I will say that they probably most likely. But Mike McCarthy,
they're gonna
go. Mike McCarthy loved Joe Witt, and he said that basically he's like Joe Witt is going to be a defensive coordinator. That's why I really think it's going to be Joe Witt because he's ready. It's just an opportunity of when he gets it. I think with Joe Witt's philosophy though, he's different than Dan Quinn. Him and Dan Quinn ain't buddy. I think Mike McCarthy likes to set people in positions because he's like, once you get out, this is going to be my guy. He did it with Schottenheimer. He likes to put people in positions, stay close to the vest because he wants you to learn the language. He wants you to learn the players. He wants you to do all this stuff because he knows eventually you're going to be pushed out of here. And I don't know if Mike McCarthy wants Dan Quinn to come back because when they asked him, hey, if Dan Quinn doesn't get a new job, he's coming back, right? I saw the reports that the beat writers put out. He's coming back if he doesn't get a new job. But Mike McCarthy said the exact same thing that he said with Kellen Moore last year. We love Kellen. We respect him. And we're going to do evaluations. That's what he said about Kellen. This year, he said about Dan Quinn, he's a valued member of our staff. And we're going to look into everything. So I don't think Mike McCarthy wants Dan Quinn back. I think he wants Joe Witt to take over because if Joe Witt comes back, Joe is going to install Mike McCarthy's 3-4. They're both 3-4 defensive guys, and they're going to get back to the basics. You're not going to see the hybrid and J. Ron Curse at free safety and LVE on the edge. You're not going to see that type of crazy stuff because I
But you
really
know
think in our
what?
defense,
But see,
we got to
here,
get back to the basics because that's where the NFL is trending. That's
but
what I see.
here's what I'm thinking. Okay, because I hear all that, and that's what I mean. Where I feel like that's going to be regression. Because here's the thing: if Dan Quinn leaves, you switch to a 3-4 when you've been a 4-3 for a lot of years. The last time you were a 3-4 was with Ryan. That's the last time you were in a full 3-4 with that team. Even with Wade Phillips, they were 3-4, 3-4. But you got to get linebackers. You don't have them, so you got to go hard in this
You got
draft.
to
And I don't know
hard
if it.
draft,
I don't know if
free
it turns.
agency.
Yeah, but I don't know if it
We
just
don't
turns
know if
over
that's going
like
to
that.
happen.
But if
That's
it
what we're
does,
saying.
I don't believe it turns over like that, Star, in 1 year and it miraculously becomes very good and it
Well,
becomes. I don't believe that.
I don't fault you for not believing that because for the most part, does that really happen?
Nope,
Not
not
really.
in the NFL.
Not saying that it can't happen because the only way it can happen when you've got to get somebody. It's all about because how Joe Witt sees players is different than how Dan Quinn sees players. So it's all to be gonna come down to if they're saying we want to keep Mike McCarthy, that's our coach. We want to follow his plan and vision. Okay. What are you gonna do? Because they did go out and they were more now. Were they super aggressive? No, they was not. But did they get us a former defensive player of the year for a cornerback? 2, yes. Did they go and get somebody that they knew was reliable for as a 1,000-yard receiver with all these different quarterbacks? Yes, they did. So maybe they see now. Maybe they don't. Maybe they sit on their hands. Maybe they're setting Mike and Dak up. They're saying we're going to get, but I don't see that because I think Jerry knows old as hell. He don't want to rebuild. So what I see is you're going to have to, if you're saying, okay, we need to get over the hump, you're going to have to add in some free agents that are already proven linebackers because you can take a gamble, you can draft a guy, but then we drafted the guy. What happened? He got hurt. He hurt his ACL. So you can't, you have to stock up basically. Like you're going to have to go out in free agency and get proven guys on top of draft because you need that room to be loaded. But I mean, you can do it. Look how many safeties we got overnight. Like we went from having 0 safeties or the trash ass safeties. We got like 20 safeties on the roster now. So it's really not nothing to it but to do it. The question is, will they do it? That's the big question. Are y'all gonna do it? Because y'all see the problems was clear as day this year. It's clear as day. There's no question of what we need to do.
You know what though, Star? When you're running the 3-4-2 Star, you got to have big people in the middle.
Correct.
So you got
to have a nose tackle.
You got to have at least multiple.
You got to have multiple nose tackles.
Mm-hmm.
We need to keep Jonathan Hankins. I think with Mozzie. I don't know who the hell told him to lose 100 pounds, but he needs to gain it back. I don't know what that was. That's why we drafted him. That thing is so. I wish if
they wanted him to pass rush.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Like this guy was like the best run defender in the draft, and we wanted.
That's what they wanted him to do. You feel me?
But that's what I'm saying. Did they want? Is that what the front office wanted him to do, or is that what Dan Quinn wanted? I don't know.
That's the million-dollar question.
Right, but we have DeMarcus Lawrence, Chauncey Golston. Those are 3-4 defensive ends. You can even put Osa. You can even put Osa. No, not Chauncey Golston's not older.
No, D-Law is.
Oh, D-Law. Yeah, D-Law's older.
And I think isn't his deal up now?
No, he's got one more year.
He's got one more year.
Yeah, he'll be here with us for sure next year. Now, the year after that, I think he might be done. But he's got one more year with us. So it's like you've got your 3-4, and Dan Quinn, he has done hybrid stuff. So we know Osa can play all across the line. He's better at 3-4. He's better as a 3-4 defensive end or a 4-3 tackle. But he's not really good at the nose. I ain't gonna lie. He's not a nose tackle. He's too small. You know what I'm saying?
Too small, and they double team, and it takes away his effectiveness.
Right, but when it comes to, we know Chauncey can play the run. He can be that 3-4 defensive end. There's gonna be free agent nose tackle. There's gonna be stuff. So we have to see. Because the identity of this team was supposed to be, this is a defensive team. We are led by our defense, right? That didn't happen, so we had to switch mid-season on the fly. So I want to see, what is Mike McCarthy's plan? Do you have a plan? If he doesn't have a plan, he's gone next year. Period. We already know that. So, and we'll be able to tell in season if we keep our eyes open and we don't get caught up in the Kool-Aid, because CD might get the triple crown. CD Lamb might get the triple crown or something.
I'm gonna tell you something. You will never have to worry about me with Kool-Aid again with this team.
Me either. Personally, I said I did the fans. I did myself a disservice. I did the fans a disservice because the proof was in the pudding. We could not, when it came to us playing in our weight class, like Boss said last night, we could not win. The proof was in the pudding. We was not ready. We was just like, okay, well, we beat the Lions. And it's like, yeah, we did beat the Lions, but look at them. We loafing off. If it wasn't for the stupid,
man, let's just keep it real. We should know these Cowboys right now. When you watch us play against certain teams where you just have that feeling where you're like, I don't know if we're gonna beat them. You'll jump out there. I've been saying it enough times on my shows and this and that. Sometimes I'll talk to somebody and it'll be a team that I actually feel like is going to beat Dallas. But because I love my team so much, I'll jump out there and be like, Dallas will win this 28-21. Deep inside, we're losing. We're not going to beat them.
We're losing. Exactly.
I've done that too many times because I'm like, nope, you know what? Let me think my Cowboys are going to pull this one off. Deep inside, I'm like, nah, y'all ain't beating them because I know how this team is. Them. And with Green Bay, I knew we should beat them. Right, but number one, when I kept on hearing 16-0, 16-0, 16-0 home,
I had the same feeling. I
said, here we go. They keep talking about that. It's gonna start playing in these dudes' heads, and then, like I said, it just feel like it's in our heads now. I feel like it's in their heads. That pressure. That pressure, and that's why when we had the show last night and Candy was talking about, Chuck ain't lying. It was quiet. People were just like, and I said this before, because these fans, just like everybody else knows that we can't trust Dallas. Yeah, we can yell and scream in the regular season because it's the regular season. You feel me? And when them playoffs come, everybody's on edge. Everybody's sitting there on edge because they wondering, are we gonna really do it? And then as soon as the team jumped on us 7-0, there was a gasp in that stadium.
Everybody did feel immediately. Yep. Everybody did feel immediately. Yeah. And that is the problem. I don't know what was, and I know everybody says you can argue, say the team was ass. That's fine. With the Bucs last year, that was ass. Tom Brady sucked. Whatever. That's fine. Regardless, we walked into that playoff game ready to go. And I'm like, why was it when we was on the road? We had never beat Tom. If there's anything to get in your psyche, and I was thinking, are we really going to beat Tom Brady? And I'm like, Tom he's been off all year because of the divorce and all stuff. And we were thinking, we had not won they kept saying over and over again, the Dallas Cowboys have never beat Tom. They just kept saying, Dallas Cowboys, they have never won a game a playoff game on the road in 30 years. They just kept saying over. I said, I was nervous, like, I don't know. Because it was the same thing. We thought we're going to go in there and beat Tampa. But in the back of your head, you're like, are we really? We never beat Tom Brady. Like, it don't matter. Same thing look what happened with Aaron Rodgers last year. They was terrible last year. We lost. We lost. So, because some people just have our numbers, but
we're always on the wrong side of records. We're always on the wrong side of everything.
But somehow we walked in there and we blew that team out. To me, I'm like, so what was the mindset then? And then I can say it even carried on to the 49ers game. Our offense got stopped, but our defense showed up. Our defense held that high power octane to 19 points.
That's why I don't understand what's going on here, Star, because the last two playoffs in 2021 and 2022, our defense kept us in the game. If we didn't have our defense performance in those two playoff games, we would have got blown out.
But we know in those two playoff games, we know what the hindrance was then. There's zero. You can't convince me right now that if Mike McCarthy was calling plays in 2021, we don't go to at least the championship that
I
year.
don't know. I
There's
can't.
nothing you can
I
convince.
can't. I don't know. I can't trust that star because I
We
know
should,
it was year one. I can't because he
it was
keeps
year
on getting
two,
scared because he
but
keep
be
no. He been in this league too long now, star. Now if you was a young play caller, I would feel you. You've been in the league too long, so you can't. If you got rid of this guy, and you should be able to hit the ground running. You've been in here too long. You've been in this league too long. You've been an offensive coordinator too long because you was a coordinator before you got that job with Green Bay.
but you're
So
saying too long to what to allow this to happen? Like what
yes,
you mean? Yeah,
yes,
and
yeah.
I'm not saying that it wasn't. And there was something that I said. Maybe I was also because I was saying there's nothing. Front office has done everything they needed to do. And I said, well, maybe because I'm like, they haven't. It looks like Mike McCarthy, he benched Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup was not playing. He was not playing. Like, so I'm like, so maybe they're not meddling. But I think maybe they could. I'm not saying that they were. I have no facts on this, guys. I don't know. But I'm like, maybe they did tell Mike, like, Tony Pollard had, because the front office is known for doing stuff like that. Tony Pollard must be this featured back. Like, he must get majority of the snaps. We're paying him $11 million this year.
Oh,
He must get it.
by all means, I can definitely see them doing
So
that
I'm like,
it's a money thing. That's why
and that was the issue.
But it's never changing. Star. This is what I say. You're telling me that. That's why it's hard for me to believe that we're not going to take a step back or anything. But just by listening to what you're saying, these things are already fill in my head, or I know from other people. Then I hear you say these things. That doesn't lead me to believe that all of a sudden we're going to rise above it now and do something when I still see those things.
We're not going to rise above it. It's going to be,
and we got a harder record.
It's going to be either Jerry does it or not. So the fans have to remind themselves, because we're going to win games in this season because we're just that type of team, right? Yeah, but we have to remind ourselves, if we go into this season, we don't have defensive tackles, we don't have linebackers, we don't have a good running game. The running game never gets fixed. Every time we're going to play lots of good teams. Every time we play a good team, we lose. Whether it's close or not, I don't care. Every time we play a good team, we lose. We're going to know, this is it. Mike is gone. We're going to know it. We're going to know it in the season. So instead of trying to, I don't care if we get, so instead of trying to talk ourselves up, the Cowboys would have to pull a 180. But if you don't see it in the season that you can beat good teams, it's not just going to magically happen when you get to the postseason. That's the problem. We showed all year we could not beat the best teams. Why did we think we was going to go into playoffs and beat the Green Bay Packers? The Green Bay Packers had signature wins. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving in their home. They had signature wins. We didn't have any signature wins to hold our hat on besides the Lions that we won by a point. I don't count the Eagles because they was obviously terrible. So it's like,
if you look at Matt LaFleur, since he's been there, he's been to multiple NFC championships already. Championship games. Matt LaFleur has already been there already in his short time at Green Bay. He's been to multiple NFC championship games already, and now you see what he's doing again. So that's why I feel like the young mind. That's why I said Jerry should have took a chance on a young mind. But he won't do that. But them young minds out there, that's the energy. Those energetic. We need them energy guys that ain't scared. Like McCarthy,
that's true.
He's old and he gets scared because that.
But the issue with that dynamic is the young guys, the gurus. They come here, and because they don't have no skins on the wall, they can be controlled. That's the issue. Like, these young guys are controlled. The older guys, they're controlled to a degree, but they're not completely controlled. Like Mike McCarthy didn't say, I'm going to let Jerry tell me I'm not going to target CeeDee Lamb. Kellen Moore did that. Like, he literally under-targeted Amari because Jerry, whoever front office told him to do it, and so he did it. He didn't fight back. He just said, "Okay, yes, sir." So if you bring in a young guy like that, they're trying to keep their job.
So you're
They're gonna
saying,
say, "Okay, yes, sir."
so Star, I listen to what you're saying. That's why we're frustrated with McCarthy. And here's the thing: I don't dislike McCarthy. I like him, but what
Yep.
I'm looking at, what I see from him is you're scary, and this organization is, because think about it now, Star. When we free agents, even the free agents we got, they negotiated that down with Brandon Cooks. They waited him out to get that deal,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
it's not like we're spending money. Like Stephen Jones don't jump out there and jump out there and put his
He
chest
doesn't
out there
do
no
it.
more. Jerry doesn't do it no more. And when you see Mike McCarthy, he gets scary too. He gets conservative when it matters the most. So we
He
have a
absolutely does.
conservative, scary type of organization that don't really want to take any type of chances anymore. And when you have that from the top, but wants to control everything, you're going to go in this ugly, dirty cycle of you're going to win games, you're going to be deceived about your team, and the next thing you know, it's just going to fail. Because if it fails this year and you have to go get another coach, this could be the rebuild thing right now, and that's why this could be a wasted season. It's like, why waste this season? That's what's
Absolutely.
frustrating.
And I agree with that too. I feel like this very well could be. That's why I'm saying we will know
Mm-hmm.
if
We're
they're
gonna know
wasting our
real
time.
early. We're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
know
gonna know
early about
real
this team if it's
we're gonna know
wasted
real
season.
early if they're wasting our time and if we're going to be first round exited again. Like this is not a team, this is not a season where we can literally have like a mirage, I don't think, like of like wins. We play a lot of hard, tough teams. So I think we're a few things away, but we'll see if we actually do that. Like I said, if they don't go in and actually get draft a running back, get a free agent running back, draft a linebacker, get free agent linebacker. Another position people ain't talking about, cornerback. What the hell are we gonna do about cornerback? We have a cornerback coming off an ACL injury. He ain't gonna be right till 2025. Are we re-signing Stephon Gilmore? And we got a corner. I'm sorry, I love DaRon Bland. He is an all-pro corner, but I think DaRon Bland is better to be a nickel corner than to be an outside corner. That's my opinion on him. Every
Now,
single time he went against the best, it was a disaster.
yep,
That's all I'll say.
and here's the thing. Here's my thing. Now, I jumped out there and said Jordan Lewis, but he's not. I think he's still better on the outside than inside because everybody. Now, here's the thing. I'm glad you said that because I just want to talk about this right quick. When Jordan Lewis, he was turning up that little bit of time, Okoye was like, "See, I told you, Jordan Lewis, but you know what? He got cooked up a little bit when he had one-on-one against them dogs and them
He
Green
sure
Bay
did.
game against them dogs. So you feel me? And just like you said with Bland, now the beginning of the season, I said, let's keep Bland at the nickel because I don't think he's ready for that outside work.
Yeah, he's
Because
not out.
he was getting those double moves. Remember in preseason they were getting them on double moves. Remember, and I made a video saying we should start Jordan Lewis on the outside and keep DaRon Bland at the nickel. People was like, "What the hell?" And I understand with Jordan Lewis, but I'm like, but I just feel like DaRon Bland is better in the nickel because I don't know if he's ready for that outside life out there. I made the video about that, and now we're seeing the exposure of it. You're a damn good corner. But those upper echelon guys,
those upper echelon alpha receivers, let's be honest,
he
guys,
don't have that twitchiness. He don't have.
We had to start putting Gilly on them because Gilly can at
Gilly
least
is too old for it.
But he can at least keep you level with technique.
Right.
He can at least keep you leveled down with technique. DaRon Bland, I mean, the Seattle game was, I mean, it was bad. I mean, he was getting routed up. It wasn't even just DK Metcalf. It's Tyler Lockett. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, he on that outside, and we just kept seeing it. He's just not. I was talking to my brother about this, and I'm like, he don't have the long speed that you need. Like, think about when Devontae Smith killed him when we was in Philly. He allowed that score. He just doesn't. I
I don't think he's
twitchy
got
speed.
the twitchy. That's what
He does not. He
he's
does
not
not
twitchy.
have
He's
it.
not twitchy like Diggs.
Mhm.
He's not twitchy like
Correct.
Diggs.
And Diggs
He,
is tall. Diggs has good
and
recovery.
rangy. Yeah, he's rangy,
Yes,
he's recovery.
Deron Bland don't
Those
have
two
that,
are
bro.
different. If you look at
They're
both of
different.
those players, that's what the twitchiness where you see
Mm-hmm.
how when you watch Diggs openly, when he opens his hit, it's so easy and natural. He looks like a receiver. Well, he was a receiver.
He was a
Bland
receiver.
and Bland, you can see where it's more stiffness when he turns. Now it's
Right.
not like he's not a good corner, but you can see his stiffness.
The
So that's what.
fluidity, right.
So that's where you can see those guys like the Devontae Smith, like you said, that got that herky jerky and that can really put you in a blender. He will struggle with those type
He
of
would get
players.
you correct. Correct. And so we got that problem. So,
And Jay Lu's
there's
a free agent.
and Jay Lu's
And
a
we
free
don't know
agent.
about Scott. And our draft pick that we
And we
don't know.
don't know about Scott. So right
That's
now, I
why.
mean, look,
That's why.
that
You
cornerback
know what I'm saying,
room is
Star?
in a blender. Yeah, I don't know how many free agents gonna be out there, but the thing is, like,
We don't spend those,
listen,
Star.
we don't. So the reality is looking like it's gonna be a lame duck year because if based on our history, we don't really use the assets that we need to make the engine go. And yet, if y'all want to just be honest, like we've never had everything we needed to go deep into the playoffs with Romo or with Dak Prescott. And when we get the next quarterback, if nothing changes, it'll be like you said, we're in a twilight zone. We're gonna see the exact same thing. Whoever quarterback next, if we don't fix this issue, it's gonna be the same thing. This quarterback's 2-5 in the playoffs. This quarterback he's so good in the season, but he can't get in. It's the same thing over and over again because this is the only team I see. This is the only playoff team that I see go into playoffs and say, hey, we can just rely on our quarterbacks to get us through. And when I'm seeing the GOATs, not Josh, because I don't see Josh Allen and Burrow, those are not GOATs yet. In Mahomes, he's a baby GOAT, but he still got ways to go. But when I see the all-time greats, when they went to playoffs, they had not just it's an effective. No, we have a running game that we can actually rely on, and you have a championship defense that gets turnovers. And we have not had that. Even when our defense was good, they kept it to a low score. It's like, okay, but where's the turnovers? It's like when our defense gets in the big moments, even in the past, before this year, we didn't feel like our defense was the same. The playoff game last year, Brock Purdy threw several picks. We couldn't get him. It's something where it's like we don't have these guys, and it doesn't matter what you do in the season. Because look at Joe Barry's defense; they were ass in the season, right? They sucked. Everybody said it. They're horrible. They can't do anything right. They get in the playoffs. Look at what they were doing.
Because Mike and them make it easy for them. You feel me?
Yeah.
They know they can come right in. And
it doesn't matter how they play.
They know they're gonna have a vanilla. It's like they know. It's like, hey, listen, let's stick to our game plan. Let's do this. Trust us, y'all. It's almost like when Stephen A. Smith says, just wait for it, because it's gonna happen. That's when Stephen A. Smith's like,
we've been getting. It's not rocket science, guys. We've been getting beat the same way in playoffs. It's not
same way. It's what the exact same way. Everybody knows how to beat us. They beat us the same way every single time.
Right. It's the exact same thing. Like, it's our Achilles heel. We have not been able to stop the run in playoffs for years.
We ain't been able to stop the run, and let's be honest, Star. We haven't been able to stop the run, period. Just teams don't stick with it. If teams get hard-headed and stay with the run, if they stay with the run, we will give up over 100 yards a game.
100 yards.
If teams were playing against us and just there, we're going to just run on you. It would happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and so when you pair that running game to a good quarterback, it's just a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at how the defenses played the greats. I'm looking at how defenses played Peyton Manning in the playoffs. It's the same shit they're doing to Dak right now. This is not some crazy conundrum. Like, whenever defenses want to stop good quarterbacks, they go into cover 2, cover 4 quarters, and they make you dink and dunk. And you better hope to God you have a good running game today, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to move the ball. And you better hope your defense over there can keep this team to about 20, 21 points. You better just pray to God that happens. Because if it doesn't happen, you're going to lose. That's just how it goes. That's what playoff football is. Like, it's plain and simple. It's not hard. It's been that way over the years. It has not changed. The things that travel in playoffs, Peyton Manning and them, they had this great offense, right? It was great in 2006. But when they got in the playoffs, they was running the air out of the ball because Peyton Manning keep throwing picks because they disguise the coverages. They're confusing him. It's the same shit. It's not some weird conundrum. There's not some special formula, or it's just this person. It's not that. You need a certain formula to win in playoffs. And the question is, Dallas Cowboys, how many times are y'all going to lose before y'all realize it? Are you going to do it or are you not? That's it. And if they don't do it, then sorry guys, we are in an abusive relationship, and we gon' lose in the playoffs again next year if we make it.
I don't know if we make it next year.
And then we'll fire Mike McCarthy. They'll extend or get rid of Dak.
I'm just
frustrated. We'll draft some. Yeah, it's the same. It's no reason not to be frustrated because it's the same stuff we see every year. It's like we're in it literally like talking to a brick wall. So like I said, we'll see. That's what I'll say. We'll see. But based on history,
it looks like it's going to be rebuilt because all the stuff that you're telling me, and then when I'm just looking at our roster right now, and that's why I said with Jesse Holley, I'm going to say it again till the cows crow or whatever, the cows come home. When Jesse Holley was on our show before the season started, we both said Dak is going to have to make some plays. He's going to have to make some throws in this offense. He's going to have to make some throws in some of these games. You know what I'm saying? He did not. Okay, he did not. He did not play his best game again. You got to be better. And then we also said, because if you don't do it this year, it's going to be a big turnover next year. You don't know what injuries, number one. In that turnover, you need corners, you need linebackers, you need frontline people, you need offensive linemen, you need receivers. Look at the team now, because those guys are going to be going free agents. Look at the areas that we need help in. And like I said, please forgive me, y'all, for looking negative, but I'm also going to have to start being a realist here. I'm looking at all these gaps that we're going to have next year. We don't know what's happening with our defensive coach. Okay, I can't trust the Mike McCarthy with Dak anymore. I'm sorry. It's going to have to. I'm just going to watch because we struggle with good teams this year, and we're going to have better teams next year, and we're not going to have the team that we had this year next year. So we don't know if we're having cook. We don't know if Gilly's come back. So it's going to be there's a lot of unknown with this team. It also got a year older. You got some, you don't know what's happening to these contracts. People could be frustrated with like CD Lamb about he's right here for his money. So we don't know his mind frame about how he going to act this year coming up. Michael Parsons, he's eligible to be signed now. Right after the playoffs, he was eligible to be signed for extension. If you watch those, what are they called? After we win the game, what are they called? Sounds from the sideline.
Oh, sounds from the sideline.
Listen, what Michael Parsons is always saying. Hey, we gotta get that sack because that's how you get paid. Oh, hurry up and get these sacks or get this because this the last time you're gonna get paid this week.
Let me address Brandon Collins. So I don't know if you just jumped in here, but you said we have had top defenses, top offenses, rushing leaders, top receiver. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, when the Colts won the Super Bowl, they had the worst rushing defense in the league in the regular season. It's not about people want to point out, oh, Patrick Mahomes' defense was 15 last year. That doesn't matter. What matters is when you get into playoffs, how you perform. That's what matters, period. So it's like, listen, it's either your coach is gonna have your teams ready to perform or they're not. That's the issue that we are having. And I do agree with Big. A lot of this stuff is a mental game with us because it's like You have pieces, but you're not putting your pieces in the right position. And then when your pieces get on the field, like the defense, regardless of them not being able to stop the run, you just didn't see that fight. We were stopping the run the previous 2 weeks from people being heroes, putting Michael Parsons in the middle, but Michael Parsons don't want to play in the middle. That's another problem that we have. Like, we actually do have a linebacker. Like, we have a very good linebacker that we could center this whole defense around. But he don't want to do it because he believes that he's Myles Garrett and that he can just stay on the edge, and that's what's going to make him great. And I'm sorry, but that's just not the truth.
But that's what I'm talking about, getting paid.
Another issue. That's another issue we have to deal with as well. So it's like, either some shit gonna change or it's not. And if it doesn't, then y'all just gonna, either you just gonna stick with the team and just watch in silence, or you just gonna say, I'm do like that Chargers fan did and sign off. I mean, there's no other way, because when Jerry leaves, it's going to Steven, it's going to Charlotte. I honestly think Steven and Charlotte may be a better combo, because I don't think Steven and Charlotte care about football. Like, they're like, yeah, it's great. They just want to keep.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it'd be better with Charlotte, because I got my guy Mike White. He knows a lot of that inside stuff with that, and he keeps it on the hush. But we would be better off if we had Charlotte, because Charlotte would sit there and just say, "Here, do that, and run it, and leave it alone." Where Jerry and them would not be meddling, and that's
trying to meddle it.
And so, listen, what I'm saying, Star, what you just said about, and that's the frustrating part. Because, see, I'm in a marriage with these Cowboys for over 40 years, and it's frustrating because I feel like I see what's going to happen next year, and I don't feel like, in my opinion, just from me, I'm being negative about it, because I'm actually feeling like I've seen these things already happen with teams and the Cowboys. So it's just, to me, I'm believing that fake stuff that Jerry tries to sell again, Star, and I can't fall for it.
I don't want nobody to believe it. Do not believe nothing that Jerry Jones say. Believe what you see. Shout out to Rome from Cowboys Fan Talk. He said this year is the eye test. Like, I keep saying this. Like, don't believe nothing that they say. I don't really care.
Think Dak is going to have a better year than he had last year?
Yeah, I think so. He should.
You think he's going to have a better year than he had this
Absolutely.
last year?
I mean, if we had established a running game this year, I think we probably would have went literally like damn near undefeated. And yes, running game and defense carries in the playoffs. That's just what I believe. I understand y'all think he'll regress, but you can't. How would Dak regress going into a second-year offense? It don't make sense unless they take everything away from him. Unless they say, we ain't signing CeeDee Lamb, we're trading him, and we're getting rid, we're not going to better the offensive line. Because I'm sorry, guys, but Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, when y'all crucified me last year, when I said probably should think about maybe we trade Zach Martin, I got called everything but a child of God. But now y'all see this year, he's regressed. Now y'all see this year, he can't get to the second level. He can't down block. Tyron Smith is not good in the run game. They're old. It's right.
So how do you feel like Dak? And this is why I'm asking you, Star, because I want to, me and you've never really talked about this, and that's why I'm playing like the devil's advocate. Because what I'm saying is this: if you're telling me about Zach Martin, I agreed with you, because I threw it out there that if a team threw out first rounders, you better get rid of him, and people were jumping at me. I was like, hell yeah, I'm good with that, because other teams would do it to make their team better, faster, quicker, and younger. Right? So if those guys are already regressing and you're still living off of Tyron Smith, and I feel like they're not going to let him go, they're going to let him do the Sean Lee thing and let him ride it out on his own.
That'd be the damn problem.
Right.
That's
the
problem.
And then you got Zach Martin, who's another year older, and he's not going to be the same player. You don't know what's going to happen at center, right? You don't know what's happened with that. We still don't know what Terrence Steele is after this year 2 of the injury. How do you feel like Dak is not going to have some regression with all this in front of him right now? We still don't know what's on with that CeeDee Lamb thing.
This is what I say. When it comes to we already have answers in-house for the center and guard position. Now, whether we want to go out and draft some guys or we just say, listen, bump that, we can't rely on it. But based on what we've seen, our backups, TJ Bass, Hoffman, those guys got a lot of snaps. And there's a reason why when we had them, we was able to run the ball. People wasn't noticing it. People was not noticing that when we literally had our backups in, we was running the ball and Dak wasn't getting sacked. And then when we got healthy with Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, we regressed. Our offensive line, Dak getting sacked on an average 3 to 4 times a game, and we could not run the ball. So the second year players, we already got them in house. If you're smart, you use those guys, you develop them, and you should draft offensive linemen every year. You get some more offensive linemen just to put more in the ranks. So you shouldn't have Terrence Steele. He already started to get slowly better throughout the year. I ain't worried about Terrence Steele. He's coming off an ACL injury, period. Left, you have your staple in Tyler Smith. You can either kick Tyler Smith out, you can keep him at guard where he was an all-pro. You draft yourself a left tackle. It's not that hard, really.
Right, but Star, but here's the thing, though, Star. You're saying
you can rebuild your whole offensive line.
You know how many? But here's the thing: you draft a left tackle this year, right? Some of the best left tackles that were in the draft or that have been.
We passed on it for Tyron.
But you get what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. You're saying we're not. Yeah, go ahead.
No, well, I'm not trusting, even if you get a top left tackle, right? What I'm saying is this. Tyron Smith, we don't know. We know he's already going to miss games. He missed 4 or 5 games. We know he's going to miss games if they bring him back, right? My thing is, if you draft a left tackle, which you better do in this first round, you better do that. You're still going to have to deal with him being a rookie, going through his rookie pains. We've seen these left tackles in the league right now giving up 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks already this year, and they'll probably be really good, but you're still going to deal with some hardships as a rookie left tackle coming in the league. You feel me? So that's banking on a lot of stuff, and that's an unknown. We're going to have to hit on this draft. Like, they're going to have to be super aggressive in this draft, and they're going to have to majorly hit, because we're going to have contributors right now in this draft. If not, it's going to be in. That's why I said that's where I feel like more trouble, because you're going to have to rely on this draft right now. This draft's going to have to play dividends right now.
And you know what? I agree. I can't disagree with that, because I'm not worried, because we hit on offensive linemen. So I'm not worried. That's just something we know how to do. I don't know who we got in the scout department, but we just know how to draft offensive line. So I'm not worried about that. The high rounds. Okay. But we did also find free agent gems. Like TJ Bass. That kid is good. Yeah. That was an undrafted free agent.
Brock Hoffman's not bad either.
They're good. Like, I'm like, so that's what we're. So I'm not with the offensive line. I think this team will regress if we don't hit on this draft, because let's be honest, last year's draft was not it. We messed
neither
up.
Was 2020. Neither was 2021. Look at 2021. 2021 wasn't a good draft either.
It was decent. We got Deron Bland. We got Michael Parsons. We got Oso Digizua.
Okay, you got 3, but you spent most of your offense, most of your draft was defense, and we had like 9 picks that year, right? And only 3 panned out because Matt Waletzko and Josh Ball terrible.
Matt Waletzko, Simi Fehoko, yeah.
Simi Fehoko, Kevin Joseph, Nahshon Wright. But we got those 3 guys right.
We got and those were 3 all pro. So, because in the draft, it is a crapshoot.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
we don't
9 players, 3 all pros. That ain't bad.
Like, exactly. It's like we can't hit. We just gotta hit on about the top 3 picks. We need to hit on those picks. And
they got to damn near be starters this year. This draft, they got to be damn near starters. They have to be.
Absolutely.
Like that BS that we just did this past season with Mozzie and Schoonmaker. That's some BS. Because when everybody was killing me, and yes, Hendershot didn't do his thing. Yes, he didn't do his thing, but I still wanted him over Schoonmaker, because all I heard was how Schoonmaker could block. That's Big, not what you drafted a second round tight end to freaking be a blocker.
Big, do you think it's crazy if we convert Schoon to a tackle?
Hell yes.
You don't think it'd be a good idea?
No, it ain't no damn tackle. Ain't no damn.
I feel like it could work. It worked with Jason Peters.
Yeah.
If he bulk up, you don't.
That's
think
like you just. That's just like you telling me about Simi Fehoko playing tight end.
Hey, I'm just throwing it out there. I was like, but maybe I was just thinking that today. I was like, maybe that would work. I was like, maybe we could convert him. It did
Man,
work out with Jason Peters, but
see,
we're not.
and we draft late too. We draft in what 24th or 25th, something like that. I mean, come on, man. We got to
Yeah,
have these
I have
picks.
not.
I'm just
Yeah,
sorry, Star.
I didn't
I'm
look at the
sorry,
draft, so I
Cowboys
don't know.
fans. I apologize. I'll be out there next week and a half. I'll be out there scouting my ass off, bringing y'all players, letting y'all see them, talk to them, all that good stuff. But I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't. This don't look like the year. I apologize. It just don't.
It,
It
yeah,
just really don't. You got too
look
many
at
things that are saying regress. You have too many things that are set up for regression, not for taking the next step. Where do you actually believe, Star, after these years, after we have to go through all this, that we're taking another step higher? I just listened to Mike McCarthy say, they said, James Slater said, why should we believe in y'all? And he said, because we brought a championship type thing, and
he said
you
we're a
know,
championship team, but we're not a world championship team yet.
right.
But he feels like, yeah. Honestly, as I said, we can't trust nothing that they say. Everything, and Mike lies anyways. I'm sorry. I
Yeah, he
love my
does. He
guy
lied.
Mike,
He lied. He lied when he
but he
first came
lies.
in, so you can't trust him.
He lies. He lies, and I realize that about Mike McCarthy. Like he will lie to you. He's deceptive. Sometimes it's good for our benefit. Sometimes it sucks because you believe what he says. He lies. So, when it all comes down to it, either this team, like you said, is heading for a lame duck year. We're gonna regress. We're gonna be in full rebuild mode, and we just gonna have to get on the train of full rebuild mode, and we just may have. Maybe we look into another great, but I honestly, I keep saying that, but I'm like, it's dumb as hell because it's gonna be the same shit. If we
I
read,
know.
it's gonna
I
be the same.
know. No, see, that's
No,
what I'm
I
trying
don't
to
even
tell.
care
I'm
about.
not.
I don't
I'm
care
not
about
trying to.
rebuilding.
I'm not trying to pull you
I
my way.
don't care.
I'm not trying to pull nobody my way. But we got to wake up, y'all.
It's gonna be
We
the same
got
stuff.
to
So,
wake up.
like, I know y'all
We
like, yeah, we
got to
need to
wake up.
rebuild. Okay, let's rebuild. It's gonna be the same shit.
It's gonna
Because
be the same thing.
even if we look into a good quarterback, dude, we got a good quarterback now. Look at it. Like, it's the same stuff. We're the only team that says we need to solely rely on our quarterback to go in the playoffs to win. It's dumb as hell. It's never gonna work. That's why we've lost. We haven't won a playoff. We haven't gone deeper in the playoffs. And about to be, if we fail again next year, 29 years. It's the same shit. It's nothing new. It's no missing conundrum. Like, we don't do the stuff that we need to win. So that's just the bottom line.
Name me some, because as we get ready to close off here, because I don't want to
Yeah.
keep you all night. And I'm going to answer this question, but well, let me answer this. I'm going to ask this first of you, and then I'm going to answer this question. Our young players on the offense, who do you think are top trending? How do you think our young players on offense? Who would you say are young players you feel good about offense right now? Young players.
Jake Ferguson for sure.
Jake Ferguson. That's
I think Drake Ferguson is going to trend up tremendously. I think Jalen Tolbert will trend up because based on what he started to do toward the end of the season and in season, I think he's going to start trending up. And I feel like offensive line wise, if we use the guys, if we say we're going to go with Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass, I think those guys can only get better because look what they were doing as undrafted rookie free agents. You telling me another year in the NFL, all those reps, they're going to be worse? That don't make sense. They ain't going to be worse. Still, he should also return to who he was. Tyler Smith, first team All-Pro. I mean, we have the offense is not if this team regresses, it's not going to be because of the offense. It's going to be because of the defense. Because all them holes that we talked about is on the defense. And y'all remember what we told the Eagles last year? We said y'all going to regress because y'all got too many holes on that defense. And how you going to replace all that? They said we'll be fine.
A lot of holes on this defense.
Turns out it wasn't fine. That's what I'm saying.
A lot of holes.
That's what's and this defense has already regressed. So that's what I'm concerned about. Our defense really, unless we get somebody in here and they really go hard, yeah, our defense they already regress. So yeah, they're gonna get worse for sure. If we don't re-sign Gilmore and you're just trying to rely on Diggs like we've done in the past, we keep just relying on these people coming in from ACLs. they're gonna be worse. And our defense, like we may win, we could win, we may win, be lucky to win 5 games next year. And Mike McCarthy gonna get fired mid-season, and
Now listen to what I'm saying.
we'll be
Now,
on rebuild mode,
now,
which
now,
doesn't
now,
matter to
now,
the same
now,
stuff.
listen to what you're saying, right? How you talking
Yeah,
about the defense regressing, and now here, well, this is what I said, y'all. Listen to what I'm telling you. How I talked about the 2018 season with Garrett, and then how it happened. The next year with Dak, you remember you just said with the offense, you said I don't think the offense is going to be bad, but I think the defense is going to regress.
yeah,
2019 after 2018, Dak had crazy stats, but we didn't do nothing. Dak almost threw for 5,000 yards that year in 2019, but it
right.
was empty stats because the defense was getting blown out, and he was having a lot of games where he was just coming back when the games were already over, and he was getting what they call the quote unquote garbage stats because we were
Mm-hmm.
getting beat so bad in those games that he was having to throw 50, 60 times in those games to make us come back. If we have this defense taking a step back in regression, this could be that year where Dak has all those big stats like this year in 2019, but once again, it's a failed season. You feel me? And then
Correct,
people,
correct.
I hate that it's gonna look like that because that's what it looks like from afar. Because we're lacking on defense, on talent wise, we're lacking there.
We are
We're
lacking, and
older,
our safeties regress too.
yeah, and we're older
Our
too.
safeties, we're older. Our safeties have regressed. Like, to be quite honest, like this defense kind of needs like a full rebuild. So I don't know how they're gonna deal with that. I don't know. Mike McCarthy said he got a plan. Let's see. It's because
We about to see.
if not, it's gonna be we'll be lucky to win 7 games, and yeah, we'll be
That's
headed
why.
toward rebuild. And like I said, I know y'all be happy, but I won't give a damn about rebuild because it's gonna be the same shit, and it may be worse because I didn't live through the 3 and 13 years
lived
like
through
y'all
all that.
did.
Yeah, I lived
I
through
didn't
all
live
that.
through that,
That was
so
hell.
it'll be my first time living through QB purgatory, and our team sucks, and our defense sucks, and we'll be praying to win a game. We'll be praying to win 2 to 3 games. We're gonna be looking like the Bears. So
And
even
that's
the Bears won 5 games this year. So maybe who was stuck? Oh, the Panthers. We'll be looking like the
oof.
Carolina Panthers.
Mm. Well,
So that's where
yeah,
we'll be.
that's where
Go
it is.
Cowboys! How about
Go
those
Cowboys.
Cowboys?
I'm gonna answer this last question because my boo thing says she got the dinner ready and it smells good and I'm
Okay.
hungry. But I want to ask Daniel asked this BGJ, if you feel that way, do we sign back in? I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know that right now. I cannot answer that question. I'm on the fence, and it's not because I don't like Prescott, but I do have my things, my my things now because I said Dak, you still got to do it. And even though Mike left you out there, but Kellen, it's all. I just feel like it's always something with him, with Dak. Like Mike left you out there, and now Kellen left you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you still got
I
to be
know
better.
you feel like it's excuses, and I think it really just comes down to because it's our team. It's our team. Like, so you're like, well, if you're not doing, get somebody else in here. But
I
they're
really
just
don't want to do that. I really don't.
but
I
in the
really don't.
reality, that's what I'm saying. But it's not, guys. Eventually, and I agree with Mike. Mike said eventually you'll realize it's not your QB, it's not this, it's not that. It
You
is the
bring a
front
different
office.
QB, it's going to do it
It's the
again with a
front
different
office.
QB. Yep.
Yeah, it's your front office because they don't want to do what it takes to win Super Bowls. Like that's just the bottom line. Your front office does not want to do what it takes to win Super Bowls. There's zero. Why couldn't we win with a young Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott? Why couldn't we win Super Bowls then? Because our defense sucked. And they never fixed the defense until Dak got re-signed. Like, that's the reality of it. And then on top of that, we want to talk about Dak's play callers. They're ass. They suck. Linehan is not even a coach anymore. He's an analyst in Missouri. Kellen Moore, he made Justin Herbert regress. They look terrible. Like, Kellen Moore is not good. Jason Garrett is an analyst, and he's terrible at that now. those people suck. Like, let's just be honest. You can name them all you want, but those coaches suck. They're not good. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants those guys. And your front office is the one who hired them. You think if Dak had Mike McCarthy since a rookie, that we'd still be in this place? Probably not. And stop judging Dak compared to Patrick Mahomes, who has has a Hall of Fame play caller and won in Philly and winning with the Chiefs.
But guess what? But guess what? But guess what? If he was, you see how he won over there with Philly and he won with the Chiefs. If Andy Reid came here, I bet you wouldn't win like that here.
He wouldn't. And why wouldn't he? Because
of front office.
Front office. What the
and that's
coaches
what people don't
do.
understand. You can
that's what everybody y'all don't understand.
That's why I said. That's why I said it don't matter if you got Bill Belichick.
It don't. We think it would. We think
it would not have mattered.
It wouldn't.
We thought it was going to be different with Bill Parcells. Was it?
No, we thought it would be different with Mike McCarthy because he was killing our ass at Green Bay. Is it? No. Mike has had to fight now 4 or 5 years to get a little bit of power.
Mike was over there kicking our ass, right? Kicking our ass with Green Bay, kicking our ass.
Going to NFC championships.
Going to NFC championships, now you come over to
Mike
Dallas.
Just forgot how to coach.
Yeah, now you come over here and it got you too. You just like if we had Pat Mahomes. If Pat Mahomes came here, he would not be Pat Mahomes.
He wouldn't. That's what y'all don't realize. Like if Patrick Mahomes, we could replace him right now. We could say send Dak to Andy Reid, bring Patrick Mahomes here.
It wouldn't matter.
They would change.
They would change. What happened?
We would be looking like, what's going on?
And
why is Dak in the AFC Championship and Patrick Mahomes can't win in the playoffs?
And that's the problem. Because guess what? When players leave us, they go to Super Bowls too. They play on Super Bowl teams. They go and be better too. They go win.
Yep. Cheetah Bay Woozie left. He couldn't. We just said he sucked so bad. He went to the Bengals, went straight to the Super Bowl.
We had
as
Anthony
a starting
Hitchens.
corner.
Anthony Hitchens and Damian Wilson left us and went to the Chiefs and went to Super Bowl. The same. So
DeMarcus Ware left us, went to the Broncos, won a Super Bowl. It's really simple. So it's like all of our players, and if CeeDee Lamb leave, if Michael Parsons, if they leave or whatever, they're going to go to some other championship
and turn up, and organization and turn up.
That's how it is with us because of how Jerry is, and I'm glad people are calling it out because it's like y'all can't. Steve Young said it. He said you can't do nothing because Jerry and Steven want to be the face. They won't let the coaches be the face of the organization and have full control and autonomy of the team. They won't do it. Mike McCarthy is handicapped. That's just the reality of it. He's handicapped.
And that's why I'm not mad that they brought him back because I like Mike McCarthy. It's Jerry. It's that front office that's making him.
If they could just get out of the way.
Because if he probably went somewhere else, he'd probably go win.
And that's just the reality. If Mike McCarthy went somewhere else, where he had full control,
because he didn't have, because he was winning. He didn't have full control in Green Bay because that's why he was mad. And he was still winning. He didn't have full control, but they weren't. But they, that's just crazy. And they had and he even said the stuff he was dealing with wasn't even nothing like this over here. And he didn't have, and he was fighting with Ted Thompson all the time over there. He was going back and forth with Ted Thompson all the time because he wanted more power.
I've never seen it before.
And he comes over here and he said, I still ain't seen it. As much as I went over there, I still ain't seen nothing like it is over here. And we're going to end it on that because I can't let my food get cold. But that's crazy. Okay. But hey, another great show. We had over 100 people in the building. Like I said, start bringing them. Let them know, Star, where you at. Let them know where you at.
Yeah, you guys can find me on X/Twitter at The Stargazer. But instead of E in Gazer, it's a 3 and 2 R's at the end. Y'all can find me on Facebook at Stargazer Sports Media. You can find me on TikTok at stargazer.sports and Instagram at stargazer_sports. And thank everybody. Thank you guys for rocking with us in the chat and just listen to me and Big Stars. We sorry. We sorry we were so real and hate
I
to
always try to
discourage
follow.
you.
I didn't mean to get Star on my. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
I might be sipping that pessimistic juice in them, and I don't mean to do that to them. So y'all forgive me for but I just got to spit reality when. And I'm not saying you ain't in reality, Star. I'm just saying when I just see certain things and they trend in this way, I can't no longer just be like, oh, that ain't gonna happen. I just gotta
No,
be
we
like, you
gotta
know
be
what,
honest.
I gotta go with my gut in this feeling, and if it's wrong, then I'm happy it's wrong. I want it to be wrong. I don't want this to be right. I don't want us to regress. I don't want this to happen. But guess what? Maybe those things have to happen to maybe some kind of change, but I doubt it. But it is
But
what
we
it is.
doubt it, but it is what it is.
It is
All
what
we
it
can do
is.
as Cowboys fans is hope and support our team. And if it's just too nerve wracking and y'all can't support it, then there's 31 other teams out there.
Yeah. True
But
story.
just know every team does have their own shit to deal with.
Yeah,
So,
and you will deal with it
so
over there too. You will deal with it over there too.
you're gonna deal with issues over there too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of owners that's like, yikes, not good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, this is how it is.
But I appreciate you, Star. Another great show. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking more draft, obviously, because we're
Yep.
on draft time. Like I said,
Yep.
I'll be prepping for the Senior Bowl. Make sure you tune in for next week,
Yeah.
and we'll be
Uh-huh.
going. And I'm getting ready for the combine too. So that's going to be back to back, Star. So jump on your
Oh,
draft
okay. That's
stuff. Yep, jump
okay.
on your draft stuff. We're going to be going hard in the draft. So get your players and all that stuff together, people you like, because we'll be talking about that next week as I get ready to go. And then you give me some people that you maybe want to look at as a senior that's at the Senior Bowl,
Okay.
and we'll try
Okay.
to grab those interviews for you and for the town for the show. So let's make that
Okay.
happen.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get on my draft stuff. Okay, I will for sure.
All right. Well, another
All
big
right.
show, another great show. I'm gonna do a
Woo.
few more things, but I appreciate you, Star. You have a great night. Be safe, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Big. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you. All right. All right. All right. Post up. This right here. As I get ready to go, there's the GoFundMe. Go to my community page. We're at 3. The goal was 750. We have 11 days before I head out to Alabama. So please, if you like, let's get that goal of that. Shout out to everybody. We finally hit 15K. Okay. Shout out to that. We finally hit 15K. I'm happy about that. That's cool. You feel me? So we finally hit it. Shout out to everybody who became a subscriber, a follower, all those good things. We're at 15K, and let's keep on going. But like I said, there's the GoFundMe for the Senior Bowl. It's in 11 days. We'll be heading out there. I just talked to Joe Castro. Dominic White will be out there. We might do a collab right there. Obviously, we're jumping on the draft next week. The goal was 750 on the GoFundMe. We're at I think 350 now. So less than 400, I believe we can make that happen. Y'all, we can make that happen. So like I said, I've always paid for all the events I went through in these it'll be 7 years next month that I've been doing this content creating, which is crazy. That time went quick as hell. Yeah, check the link out. Go to my community page on YouTube. You can click the link there too, or you can go to my Twitter at Big Game James and click on as well. And let's get that goal. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody we had in the chat. Thanks for all the love. And we'll be talking to you soon.